Got to take it, I got to take my personal laptop outside and just kind of like, throw some rounds through it because it's useless.
Yeah.
Frustrating. It takes forever to upload. It's old.
You have a what kind of computer is it? Do you have like a Mac or is it like a
Yeah, it's what the hell is this thing again? Oh, fuck, it's Hewlett Packard.
yeah, so it's a piece of junk.
It's pretty much shit. Yeah.
Yeah, things are garbage.
Yeah. So what's up,
Man,
man?
you're all fidgety, huh? Yeah, it's cool. I was wondering if you were going to be able to get on here.
Oh man, have faith, man.
Yeah, that's cool beard you got going there.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of, I'm sure. Yeah, I get different kinds of compliments.
I like your jacket too. You look like John Rambo.
No, no, dude. Yeah, John. Right. So,
So funny.
what's this about, man? You tell
He,
me.
well, let me tell
What
you
do we
this
want to do
story
here?
first. So, my Hannah's brother's wife, dad passed away, and he was like a Marine or whatever, and she left him a truck. And dude, this thing I borrow it every once in a while because it's like an extra truck, but it's like this little red Ford Ranger, and like it's got like Marine Corps stickers all over it. It's got all this kind of stuff on it. Even the license plate, everything, and it's like when you're driving around, you feel like John Rambo when you're in that thing. I keep waiting for people to like honk or like give me the Semper Fi scream or something.
Yeah,
And they
Marines are
just left all the stickers and stuff on there. It's pretty hilarious.
Marines
But
are pretty intense about being Marines. I'll tell you what.
yeah, yeah. So there's in my neighborhood, there's one house where this dude's like always fixing stuff in his front yard, and it's always like he's always got like stuff out in the yard, and he's making a mess, or he's out there like pressure washing some piece of garbage that he's gonna sell or something like that, and it's always like a mess out in front of his house, and like everybody's trying to get him out of here and stuff. But dude, right next door is a Marine, dude. And, he's got the Marine license plates, and obviously his place is like immaculate, you know what I mean? Because that's how
Yeah,
Marines are.
yeah, yeah.
And I just want to be like, every once in a while I see the guy and I just want to wave, I wave and stuff like that, but I want to be like, dude, this must be driving you crazy. Like, to be a Marine and have all this stuff right outside your door, you know what I mean? Because we're just
Yeah.
so close to each other, because it's kind of like townhomes. Guy's got to be freaking out inside, man. He's probably cleaning his guns every night. Because I mean, it's got to be driving him crazy. But yeah, so no, my buddy wanted to do a podcast, and then so we've been doing a couple, and then he just had surgery, had like hemorrhoid surgery on his butt, so he's like been out for a couple days. They say it takes like 2 to 4 weeks to heal from that, so he's like laid up. So then I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk to you, see what you're doing.
Yeah. Old man.
Here's some wild and crazy stories about Nam.
What are you talking about, man? Um.
But yeah, I want to hear about what you're up to.
What am I up to, man? Not really much. Nothing really exciting. I'm working over here on the river, going back and forth. Um, I don't. I'm the ops manager over there, so um, it's not bad. It's a good gig, man. It's about as far away from anything I used to do. It is literally it was 180-degree away of the nonsense I was doing before, which is good because you know as you know, there's a shelf life on that type of lifestyle. So there's you sit there and you start getting older and things start to hurt and you go, hey man, when you go to the doctor, right, and you tell and the doctor asks you how you're feeling, and you tell them, well, everything from the neck down hurts, and everything from the neck up, I don't feel a thing.
Yeah,
So I'm like sitting there going, yeah, I need to do a lifestyle change. Um, you know, I don't know when's the last time I talked to you, but when I came back from doing all that contract stuff overseas, man, I bounced around a bit, and odd job to odd job. I was doing anything I could to keep food on the table, and contract world, man. It's like when does a contractor look for a job? When he has one. And so I was between jobs. I was back stateside, and I was doing anything I could, man. I literally was like, roofing. Dude, I sold cars for a while.
nice.
Yeah, I didn't like that too much. But, just hell, man, I worked at Home Depot, the graveyard shift, operating the forklift, unloading the trucks and stuff like that, Finally, I applied over here and I wasn't going to stay there. I was just going to be another filler job. I was waiting for a contract gig to open up.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, the opportunities kept presenting themselves here and I just kept grabbing them. I said, screw it, I'm going to stick with this.
Yeah. All right. So that's cool. I got more questions, but so selling cars. What kind of cars were they?
I worked for Toyota.
So Toyota.
Yeah, I worked for the
Oh,
dealer.
that's cool. So those are
Yeah.
good cars. You're not selling like crappy cars.
Oh, no, I was selling shit too.
Oh yeah. How did you? So what was that like selling cars?
Dude, so you got to be able to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror, right? And it was high pressure sales. The owner of this place was, I'm not going to use her name or anything like that, but
No, you don't
the
have
owner,
to.
yeah, the owner of the place, man, he was old school car salesman kind of guy, and that's how he trained his staff. They had, a certain procedure that they went by, and it was high pressure sales, sell, sell, sell. Doesn't matter, sell. I'm like, dude, this guy can't afford this car. I just did his, I did a check of his,
Right.
and he can't even finance a hot dog,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you want me to sell him this car? Sell it to him. It was all about making the sale, and I was like, after a while, I was like, nah. There was times I was like looking at people going, "You're about to make a really bad financial decision."
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell them that. You just,
Right.
if they want to buy the car, they buy the car.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. So you were like,
Yeah,
I don't like this.
I didn't care for it too much. It was like I said, it was another filler job. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Were you wearing like a suit and everything?
dude. Yeah, I was like,
You like bum rush people when they come up there.
dude,
You're
I
like,
was
hey,
no,
what's up?
no,
My
I
name's
bumped,
Mario. Buy this car.
dude.
Buy this car.
No, man, I did the opposite. I would like not bum rush anybody. You had guys that would walk the friggin' parking lot, and if they saw somebody coming at you, they'd be like,
Yeah.
what's the first thing somebody's going to say to you? Hey, man, no, I don't. I'm not interested.
Right.
I'm just looking.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
would push people off, and I'd be like sitting over there going, "That's cool, man. That's where it all starts. Let me know, and I'll be
Yeah.
over here. You got questions? Let
Yeah.
me know. I'll be over here.
You're like, I'll be over here watching you from the
From
side
a
of the
safe
building.
distance
Yeah.
with binoculars."
Yeah. Yeah. I know. I always go up to like CarMax because if you wanted to check out a car, like just say, I just want to sit in the thing, man. I mean, I might like how it looks, but let me just go sit in it. I just want to see what it looks like. You know what I mean? And there's no way I'm going to a car dealership because you're saying, dude, like as soon as you pull in, dude, like you're a target, like they're coming. And but that's why I like going up to CarMax because there's so many different kinds of cars there. You can just be like, go jump in a whole bunch of different company car, like different brands. So you're not like having to go to the dealerships. But even there, they, as soon as you walk in the door there, they're like right up on you. Hey, can I help you today? And then they're like, I just keep walking towards like the cars and they'll walk with me, you know what I mean? And they'll just try to get as much information out of me as from like in like the 20 yards to the cars, you know what I mean, as they possibly can. And then they're like, okay, just let me know, And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to look at them and
So
sit in them.
just so you know, man, there is literally, and I'm not sure how the other dealerships did it, but there is a script that they go by. The minute you walk into a car dealership, you are in a controlled environment.
Right.
So they try to steer you in a certain way to get as much information. Everything is scripted. They try to steer it in a certain way so you can, like you said, they get information out of you to try to figure out what you're looking for. Because most people, like I said, most people are very standoffish with salesmen. Let's face it, car salesmen have a horrible reputation, right?
Yeah.
I never told anybody I was selling cars because I knew what
Yeah.
they would say. Like, oh my God, you're a car salesman.
Right. They start checking their wallet and stuff.
And so, but even on the flip side of things, they were always, everybody's saying, oh yeah, car salesmen are so dishonest. Well, there's a saying on the flip side of the house, buyers are liars. Because I can tell you how many times that people just just downright bullshitted me, and I'm like sitting there going, "No, you're not buying anything from me today. I get it. Just be honest with me. I'll be honest
Oh,
with you."
so they were acting like they were gonna buy something, but they weren't.
They weren't, yeah. So I've had that. I used to have those. So to make a living, just to survive in car sales, you got to try to sell at least 8 to 10 cars a month.
Okay.
And that's just to make a living, just to get by.
Is that like pretty normal for a month?
No, man, months they go up and down. A lot of the times, you'd be averaging, if you're averaging like 6 to 8, you're living on a tight budget.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you had guys that were selling like 14, 16 cars a month, and they were just crushing it. And it's a combination of you trying to sell the new cars. If you're really trying to do this right, you're trying to sell a combination of new cars as well as used cars, because actually you make more money. The salesmen make more money off the used cars. Sounds kind of crazy, but
So they
it's
make more money buying the used cars.
selling the used cars. You
Okay,
sell a
yeah.
used car, the salesman gets more of a higher profit margin from it.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the used cars on the lot, not the used cars that they're bringing in to trade in or whatever.
No, yeah, I'm talking about what you got on the lot.
Yeah, because
And
used cars already their values already like set in.
yeah, I mean there's no two used cars alike, so there is no price. The price is going to be whatever you make it, basically, depending on the condition of the vehicle and what have you. But there are no two used cars alike. Where a new car, they'll bring a whole fleet of new vehicles in, and all those cars, depending on the package, obviously, but if the packages are the same, they're going to be priced the same, right?
Yeah,
Where that doesn't happen in the used car industry. There's influx as far as what's in demand, what's not in demand.
yeah.
Depending on like I said, the condition of the vehicle, any upgrade. There's a
But Toyota would be a good one because they got their cars are great cars, so at least you're not giving them garbage.
yeah. I mean, they got a good reputation. Yeah, Toyotas. They I've dude, I sold cars to so many people, man. I was I only did it for like about maybe 6 or 7 months, and I moved
Yeah,
on from it because I just didn't, wasn't my thing, you know.
right. So when you were doing how did you get into the contracting stuff?
So when I retired, prior to retiring, I started putting my curve feelers out there to a couple folks. The contract world, the stuff that we were doing, very incestuous. Everybody knows everybody, man.
Right.
It's really easy to get a good reputation, and it's also pretty easy to get a really bad reputation. And I'm talking industry as far as the companies go. On the personal level, all the jobs I got were I got a phone call from, I don't know if you remember Jack Bracken. I think
Yeah,
he
I
was
think
gone. He was gone by the time you got to ITD.
yeah, I think he was leaving. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were pretty close, and he was calling me up, talking to me about stuff, and I said, yeah, well, he was doing the anti-piracy jobs. He was working for this one company, and so he was like, yeah, sure. But then another opportunity jumped up um, from who the hell did I go through to get that one? It was a training job in the Emirates. Is really where I started, and that was a great job. The training jobs actually paid more than the operational jobs.
Good.
So, so did
Those are the
that
safer
for,
ones too, right?
and it's safer, man. It's just, yeah, you're not getting shot at, for the most part,
Yeah, nobody's coming at you with a machete.
a machete and an RPG. By the way,
Yeah,
when somebody, by the way, just a little note, it's not like the movies, man. That's the other thing. I can't watch movies because they just piss me off, right?
yeah,
Like, in the movies when they scream RPG and the damn thing's coming at you at 25 miles an hour, stops for a donut at the coffee shop, and then continues on.
yeah.
No, dude. It's like an RPG goes off. The only reason it was an RPG is because they missed and you're still alive to process that. I mean, it happens,
Okay.
it happens like
Really?
that, man. There's none of that.
Wow.
I love when movies do that, It's like, come
Yeah.
on, man. So, but
Yeah, movies are
but
terrible, like, especially when they're shooting and like the clips must be like 200 rounds.
oh yeah, the never-ending rounds. Yeah, I mean they're getting
Yeah.
better at it, obviously certain movies, but the cheesy ones, you're like, dude, come on, man, get somebody in there as an advisor or something. But no, I started off doing the training jobs, and then I mostly stuck to the training jobs. I did a little bit of time with doing the anti-piracy jobs um, over in the basically off the coast of Somalia. It was like the ships would come out of the Red Sea, and we would be station keeping on these armory ships off the coast of United Emirates, and in a little town off this little town called Fujairah. And these ships were horrible. The living conditions on these ships were terrible, by the way. I mean, you wanted off of these damn things as quickly as you could. So they were just giant floating armories. They had these Conex boxes, and you were bunking with the competing companies too. So
Wow.
there would be like 6 or 7 security teams on there from different companies. There's nothing to do. There's no
Right.
Wi-Fi. There's nothing. So they had, you felt like you were in prison. There was like weight equipment. You're working out on the deck.
Yeah.
You don't want to be inside the boat because it's hot as hell.
Yeah.
The food was horrendously bad, and everybody's just looking at each other like, "There's the competition." Oh, they're the Brits. You know, you had all these different companies. All the Australians are over there. Everybody's working out. Stupid. I'm like sitting there going, "What the hell did I just get myself into, man?"
So why were they all in the same place?
Because they had a contract with the Emirates, would say, "Hey, you can stage from here," but they were like, "You had to keep." They would tell them, "We don't want any weapons inside our territorial waters," so they had to park these. They anchor these ships 3 miles off the
Okay.
coast. Then, when the cargo ships were coming out of the Red Sea and scooting by them, they stopped their pause. They would shuttle us to the ships
Oh,
from there.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. It
Wow.
wasn't really. It was kind of. It was. Yeah, it sucked.
Well, what kind
Some
of
of the
ships were they?
LNG tankers, cargo ships. I mean, these are big, you know, deep draft cross Atlantic,
So just
kind
depending
of
on whatever that ship had a contract with is the team that goes
correct.
out. And then so all the other people they weren't cool. They were all like jerks or whatever.
It literally depends what kind of ship they. It was funny. You could tell the crews that had been attacked
Yeah.
because when you came on board, man, they were happy as all hell to
Yeah.
see you.
Right.
And then the crews that never were or hadn't been engaged or attacked at all, they looked at you like you were a nuisance. Like, what are you doing here? We don't even need you.
Right.
And you got to remember, so these captains, they weren't too crazy about having people that were not their crew members on board their ship with guns.
Yeah.
I made it a point every time to go to the pilot house, introduce myself to the captain first, and go and let him know, sir, I work for you. I am subordinate to you while I'm on this vessel. I am just an extension of a tool that you have to use. And they were like, okay, it kind of changed the mood a little bit because I didn't want to have this us and them kind of environment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what were these crews like? Like what country were they from? Most of the crews and the
All
captains,
over,
where were they from? All
all
over.
over.
So they
Guys
all
were,
spoke English though.
yeah, yeah. They all spoke English. So
Were any of them from the states, or were they all mostly foreigners?
Filipinos, had some. I had a couple French, German, European guys. Yeah, that kind of a mix.
Because they had to feed you guys and like
Yeah.
house you guys,
Yep.
and then so when you guys got on there, did they have like a big powwow, or they just kind of knew the drill?
They knew the drill. I mean, I would go up and like I said, introduce myself, and I'd set up the watch rotation because we'd keep one guy on there'd always be one guy on the bridge scanning the horizon, checking the radar, that kind of stuff.
So how many people were on the team?
5.
And then like so one person's on the bridge and everybody else is like doing patrols or whatever.
Nah, bunking out.
Just
One
like
guy in the pilot house, and we would rotate through. If we had an emergency, everybody would get up, and we had stations. I'd walk the ship and go, okay, what's the best place to
Right.
defend the ship from if we were attacked? Then
Yeah.
I'd get the team together. Okay, if this happens, I want you here, you here, you here,
Yeah.
depending on you know skill
And
set.
then, so the other guys, they were all ex-military.
The other guys were, you're gonna get this. It was a combination of Russian and Ukrainian
Oh my God.
guys. Yeah, try that
Wow.
out today. Yeah. So these guys
Jeez.
were, and my Russian got pretty good after a while. But yeah, the team leaders were American. So, and the teams were all, Russian or Ukrainian. And granted, remember, as things started to calm down, because this was all, when the piracy was going haywire off the coast of Somalia, it calmed down quite a bit. Once they're not like these, terrorist groups. These guys are just trying to survive.
Right.
They're trying to find a way to survive in a lawless country.
Yeah.
So they're looking to make a buck. They're not looking to die for a cause.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I got my opinions about that movie. What the hell was that one movie that came out a couple years back?
Oh, with Tom Hanks or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, it's about piracy, right?
Yeah, and the ship they used in the movie was not anything that looked like the Maersk, Alabama. So
Yeah.
I tied up next to that thing when I was in South Africa, and I was drinking a cup of coffee, and I'm staring across to the other side of the other pier, and I'm staring at that thing, and I'm going, yeah, if I was a pirate, I'd attack that piece of shit. I mean, it's like, it's slow as shit.
Yeah.
It's got, they load it up, it's really low freeboard, and all their concertina wire is broken in many spots. I mean, it was just,
Yeah.
you're begging for it, So no wonder they got hit, So, um, uh, yeah. So I did that for a while. Then I did a little bit of work for the State Department down in South America. Again, went back to Colombia. Um,
Really?
I did a couple gigs down there. That was fun.
Where were you, how did you get that? How'd you get that going?
Just word of mouth, man. Hey, so and so's working over here. Give them a call. See if they need somebody.
So you just went down there and you're just hanging out doing stuff.
Yeah, So
So did you
bounced around
guys
a lot.
have a lot of problems when you're out there on the ocean?
It was mostly a lot of boredom.
Yeah.
Shit tons of boredom.
But that one chance that everybody's gonna die.
Yeah, I had a moment of clarity. I guess what alcoholics call a moment of clarity of why the hell am I still doing this kind of stupid shit.
Yeah.
We had the Somalis. The Somalis are very predictable. They would attack in like a herd, like like small groups. A couple boats here, a couple boats there, but they were predictable, and they would attack, and very unorganized. They were crazy unorganized. So they would attack usually right before dawn or right after dusk.
Yeah.
So, and I'm at a higher elevation. I'm at a higher vantage point. They're they're down low. It was like a turkey shoot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there was one event where, which boat I was on. Anyway, I got one of my guys come bashing on my stateroom. I'm in my boxer shorts and fucking wife beater, right? They're like, Mario, 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 pilot boat, pilot boat. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to the pilot house. I'm still groggy. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I look at the radar. It's like they're all pointing over there. The captain's, I can see he's nervous. And I'm like, okay. So I go, give me the binos for a second. I'm staring at this thing. And then I said, okay. So I give me the AR, just an AR. And I popped a couple rounds at the guy. Nothing, still coming at us. I'm like, okay. Now I'm shooting at the pilot house. He stops.
Yeah.
And I'm staring at him. He's still thinking about it. So I hit him a couple more rounds. Well, this dude comes out. Remember I told you about the, RPGs? They're not like
Yeah.
movies. One of his guys stands up on the bow of this boat. Now, luckily, it was a little rough that day, and this
Yeah.
doing this.
Uh huh.
And when he shot the damn thing, it went up over us.
Oh my god.
And
But it
that's
was
when I told
fast
every
though, huh?
yeah. The only reason we knew is because we were still there.
Right, yeah.
You know, so, you got to remember the effective range of those things is what, like 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
So, and they were well within that. I basically, it kind of, everything kind of slows down, obviously. You kind of slow down. You're like, what the hell just, and then
Yeah.
I basically just yelled at all my guys and was like, light that fucker up.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
After everything settled out, we were, obviously we kept moving. We were moving the whole time. I went back to my stateroom, sat there and processed everything and said, I think I've had enough of this.
Right. Yeah. Jeez. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
wild. That's wild stuff right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had any RPGs shot at me yet. I don't
That
think
was,
so.
well, if that happens down there down in Jacksonville, then you let me know. You need to move.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. That's what a great story.
I don't know. So, like I said, we talked before about, some of the stuff I'm writing down. And so I started
Yeah.
writing stuff down, right?
Yeah.
And, I was writing all this stuff down and I was first doing it kind of like an autobiography, right? I guess, right? And I started reading it back and I'm like, man, this shit's boring. I'm like just looking at it going, most of this shit's pretty boring. So then I started thinking over, I put it down, I just walked away from it. And then, you know, I started thinking later, well, wait a minute, just, what if I was to write fiction, right? And,
Yeah.
and then every so often, like intertwine like something that happened
Mm-hmm.
or occurred to me.
Yeah.
And obviously if anybody that reads it that was with me, like, if I'm telling you right now, if you've read some of that stuff, I'm pretty
Right.
sure you pick up where you would go, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's actually talking about this.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I decided to do that and just write fiction and just, make it a little bit more, make it something that's an interesting read. It's like, I'm trying to keep it, I guess, as light as possible, I guess. I don't know. Or interesting to read, I guess. And, I gave it to my daughter, who is she's like an English major. She was like editor of her college paper, worked for the local paper here, and she knows how to, edit documents and all that stuff, and she's good at it. And then she would like give me advice on, she'd go, Dad, you might want to say it this way, or you might want to talk about, like there was part of the book where I was talking about the markets in Yemen and how we were walking through the markets, right? And she says to me, describe what it smelled like. And I was like, what? It's like, describe what it smelled like. Most people, that's one of the senses that most people don't talk about when they write. You got to put the writer, she was telling me,
Yeah.
you got to put the reader in the environment, right? And I was like, shit, I didn't think of that. So I started, and she actually helped me get better at writing. I'm not all that great to begin with, but she helped me improve on that, right? Yeah, smart kid. I'm not saying that because she's my daughter. She's just really good at what she does. But
Yeah. I remember walking through there, and I don't remember what it smelled like either because I was too worried about not getting killed. I just remember
it's funny,
like
man.
there's so much
So,
going on in
right.
there. You're like your senses are like overloaded. You're like,
Yeah, and we
there's
stick out like a
there's
turd in
people
a punch bowl.
everywhere. They're all staring at us. Like there's so many ways that you could just dip out into some little. You're like kind of like trying to enjoy yourself, but you're also like looking for your escape route at all times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Well, yeah, we lived it, man. And I
but
made it a point. You remember, I made it a point to use everybody's skill set to the. My whole point was
yeah,
to come the hell home, right? We're gonna come home,
right,
right?
yeah,
And I made you the driver, and I was
yeah,
like, you're driving because honestly, dude, you were the best driver out. You were friggin' Jason fucking Bourne behind the wheel, bro. And I picked up at that when we were doing that training. I'm like, I was making my list. Everybody
yeah.
else is there doing whatever, but I was sitting there going, I'm making my list of who I want to deploy with.
Right. Yeah. Well, because it's serious, man. You
Yeah.
can't. You gotta,
everybody else was, all the JOs were going to the Bahamas and
yeah,
Mexico. Not that Mexico is totally safe,
right,
because depending on where you go, but
yeah,
they were going to, they were getting softballs for
yeah.
missions, man.
I know.
And
Well,
nobody
they
ever wanted to
were,
deploy with me. You know,
yeah, they were always like a liability, man. Like they were putting you in danger, which like that was the goal. Is like don't put everybody else in danger. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And they don't realize they're even doing it. I don't think because they think it's all like everybody's like the world's like a great happy place, you know. But yeah, you could easily make from what you've sent me already. You could easily make like a series, you know, easily make a series, man. And it's really it wouldn't be that hard to do it. Like I still got all the stuff that you sent me too. Stuff you just have to get somebody that wants to greenlight it, so you could get it on like Netflix. I mean, you could easily put that on Netflix or Prime or whatever. People would love that. It's like those ones with Chris Pratt, man. It's the same thing, you know, like the Terminal List or whatever. It's kind of like it's
yeah.
not like that, but it would be better.
Nah,
It'd be better than
it's,
that
and it's, I don't know,
because
man.
it's kind of like it's like a insight into like that kind of world, but then you're also like touching on like what it's like to be in these other countries and like what's really going on, and then it's like a dark comedy too, kind of, you know.
it is kind of a dark comedy. You know, it's like, you know, it's um the
That's what.
yeah. I don't know, man. It's, yeah. I've thought about that. Trust me. I remember all the conversations we were having about it. I don't know. I got to see. It's still rough. I mean, it's still, what you're
Yeah,
reading.
but
What I sent you is still pretty rough. But
that's not a big deal. Like it doesn't have to be perfectly polished. You know what I mean? Because most likely when you go to film it or whatever, stuff's gonna get changed because of whatever reasons, anyways. You know what I mean? But
it's got to sell.
yeah, it's great actually. It's perfect. It really is. It's neat. It's almost like it's kind of a neat. It'd be good. It's like military-ish.
Well, the thing is let's face it, the media, not the media, but the viewers out there, right? The people that watch movies. I don't even, I'm lost for words what I'm trying to say, but um, they're all they know is special forces.
Yeah.
They see these movies, SEAL teams. Oh, you were a
Yep.
SEAL, or you're this and that.
Yeah.
That's not what we did, man. And
Right.
we were more intel gathering, honestly, because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, they brought us back to the embassies and they debriefed us. Okay, what are their capabilities? What is
Right.
this? What is that? What did you see?
Yeah.
That's what we were. Human intel is what we were.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And
looking
just kind
back,
of
I didn't realize how stupid it was what we were doing.
yeah, because they were just like, "Oh yeah, you guys go and do
So
this," and
it's
we're
like,
like, "Okay," and then you
no
realize, right? Yeah, they just kind of threw us out there, man. Now,
hey, by the way, uh, you remember when I used to go off on my own? Hey guys, I'd leave the hotel and be like, I'll be back.
yeah,
Yeah, because I wasn't playing that. So I went out and I got guns,
yeah,
and
that's crazy.
I didn't tell you guys about it
Yeah,
because I was like, gonna keep it on the down low. If shit goes south, I'm just going into my bag, going here, and
yeah,
so you probably would have
yeah,
been like, where did you get that?
right,
I bought them at the friggin' market, man.
yeah. That would have been even better too, because nobody would ever have traced it.
Yeah. Oh, and I dumped them. Well, obviously, you dump them before you come back, and
Yeah, yeah, because
But
there's a lot of times when we easily could have been targets, man. So
easy,
easy.
so easy, man.
And it was wild that they just let us go, you know? Like,
It kind of pissed me off a little
I
bit,
mean,
man.
Jesus, as soon as you opened your mouth, like, everybody turned, you know? And just stare right at you. And then, like, somebody whispered to somebody, and then that person left the room to go tell somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. Everywhere we went, too. It was kind of interesting that we were able to move around so much without a lot more problems. You know what I mean? But I think maybe, like, somebody was like, oh, they're here with. We were kind of like. I think people weren't sure. You know what I mean? because they were trying to tie us down as like military, but we were kind of weren't. You know what I mean? So it was weird. It's like I think if they would have thought we were like like Army or Marines or something, they probably would have came at us harder. You know what I mean? But because they didn't really weren't sure, like they thought we were, like what we did, it must have thrown them off or something. Like they thought we were there to help. You know what I mean? Which we were, right? Were we? You remember
I just wanted to stay alive, bro.
Remember we did that trip through from Sanaa to like Hadeda through like that warlord country, and it's like, dude, they let us go out there.
That was like what was that? Like a 6-7 hour drive.
Yeah, through the most like they would have never found us. They would never have found us. There's no way. And it's crazy to think that they just let us do that. I mean,
yeah, it was
that's scary stuff.
Looking back, I go, man, that was downright dangerous. We were literally in Al Qaeda's backyard.
Yeah,
and it was nuts.
I just remember seeing those buildings in like little towns, I guess, that were up on top of the mountains. You know what I mean?
Dude, I still got all those pictures and videos. I still have them.
And I was like, dude, if they took us up there, nobody would ever find us. No. Nobody would ever find us.
Nope.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. A lot of crazy memories.
But that's what makes for good stories and stuff, and that's why your series would be, if you made like a series or did a book about it, it would be pretty sweet, because most people don't even know that the Coast Guard was doing that stuff, And
that's the thing, what I was trying to say before was, everybody's used to hearing about the SEAL teams.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're like, Coast Guard? Coast Guard doesn't do that. I'm like,
so like Yeah, so they have like veterans in writing and stuff like that. They try to have like programs for that, but that's what I was trying to get into, all that stuff. But that's like all they wanted was SEAL stuff, They just wanted like SEAL stuff, and it's like, dude, I mean, those guys they train a lot, dude. You know what I mean? And they do missions and stuff, but there's other people doing stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's they want
Yeah, they want that. They just want to hear the Navy SEAL thing.
The movie companies want high speed, low drag. That's what they want to see. But after a while, that stuff, becomes very much, like, okay, yeah, I've seen this before. I can see.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's a guy shooting an RPG that, takes an hour to get to the target. And then the guy's got a pistol that he shot like 600 rounds out of. You know what I mean?
It's yeah, after a while, I think you're right. I think the story. I'm trying to write a story that is from a perspective that hasn't been seen before. Is what I'm trying to do. So we'll see.
You have enough already to just write the first, episode. Really, you know what I mean? And then you can just from then on, you already have enough to do like at least probably 3 or 4 more episodes, and then from there you can just start creating it. You know what I mean? So you don't have to punch out the whole thing if you're just going to try to do it for like film and stuff like that. But if you're going to do it for a book, you can, that's different.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start the story and then read it, and then you can just keep adding to it.
Yeah, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll take a look and see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I think I still have it. I got it on my computer somewhere. Did you name it? Did you have a name for it?
I came up with a couple different names, First I thought maybe Downrange or,
Yeah.
I came up with one. I thought, I was thinking the word blood clot, It's like, I was coming up with some weird names, man.
Yeah. Like Project Boondoggle.
Yeah.
It's got to be something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Some weird stuff. I don't know. I'll come up with something. My daughter, again, does a lot of writing. She says to me, write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think that was like Hemingway or something like that said that.
Are you doing it on the computer, or are you writing it down?
No, yeah, I'm just doing it in a Word document.
Yeah.
And the other thing we talked about the other day is I want to see about getting those AI apps that you can write in. You start writing, and it basically helps you. It gives you options of what to write, how to say it, or how to craft.
Yeah, you can totally do that. It's so easy now.
Yeah.
So you can put anything in there and it'll spit it out and make it sound like really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably love it because it'll give you like little ideas and just like ways to approach how to say something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I
So
mean, and it'll keep. You just hit regenerate, and it'll just give you another option, and another option, another option, another option. So that'll be pretty easy.
yeah,
Yeah,
that'd
and
be
it's
pretty cool.
free. They're all free software now.
Really? Okay. I
Yeah,
gotta take
yeah. You can use Gronk on X. They have their
what?
own. It's called
What's it called?
Gronk. Gronk. It's like
Gronk.
GROK.
Okay.
Gronk. Yeah, and then Microsoft has OpenAI, and then Facebook has a thing called Llama. But Grok, you could probably try Grok. That's the X one, GROK. You just go on the site. It has its own app,
Hmm.
and the symbol looks like a black hole.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. That
yeah,
that's not ominous at all.
right. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I didn't even think about it like that. What's it like over there now? Is there a lot more building going on?
Dude, they overbuilt the shit out of this town. So yeah, I'm not fond of that. They're trying to build behind me now, man. It's like, we're kind of pissed about it, but
Because
we'll
it was
see.
all woods back there?
Yeah, it's like 66 acres of woods behind me, and it goes right into the it's right up against the Powhatan Creek, so it's marsh and marshland back there. And you're not
Yeah,
supposed to build on it,
right.
but man, these builders, they got the local politicians in their back pocket, and
Yeah,
they dump money at them, and it's like, I'm like, how are you getting the right to go back there and build so close to that water, to basically the watershed?
yeah.
It's like this guy's looking to put like 49 houses on like 18.6 acres. It's insane, dude. It's like basically nut the butts to.
They're like right up against each other, the houses?
Yeah. They would have to be. There's not enough. Dude, 49 houses on 18 points. It's nothing. It's not enough room, Um, it's horrific what this guy's trying to plan, and I'm like, yeah, we're just going to keep polluting that, because all the runoff's going to go into the
Yeah.
creek, which feeds the river, and we're just polluting the shit out of it. That's all we're doing, so destroying the wildlife and all that. So
So when you're on the other side, Yorktown or Jamestown, or what's going on over there? Is it building up over there too?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
dude, you'd be like, I don't know if you'd recognize it or not. It's
Yeah.
been years, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it was kind of like a small town. But I
Yeah.
imagine like people must have came in there because that's all historical stuff right there. So people you would think would want to be right up on it.
Dude, it's nuts, man. Anytime you build anywhere over here, you got to do a archaeological survey first, because you don't know what you're gonna find.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. There's all kinds of stuff over there.
And he claims that they did a search, but the
Yeah,
builder
right.
paid the guy. So
Yeah, yeah.
come on.
He didn't even have it. He didn't even have the machine on. He's just like going beep beep with this fake metal detector. Yeah, because I remember they said that there was always stuff in the ground.
Yeah,
Because like 200 million people died over there.
you
Yeah,
just nuts, man. I'm like, I'm big into. I'm not real big into, but I'm not trying to figure out how to say this, but I'm not a tree hugger,
right.
but dude, I respect the fact that we gotta, you gotta maintain the natural environment. You just can't just throw buildings up anywhere and everywhere, and you're destroying you're destroying our environment. You can't do it, man. It's at some point something's got to give, right?
Yeah, I'm
Which
pretty.
reminds me, man, I almost got a gig one time. I almost got a gig, and I was like, man, that would have been so cool. Was doing
Really?
anti poaching over in Africa.
Oh my
I almost
God.
got a gig doing that, man. I would have loved to have done that, man.
Wow.
Like, it's like I have a thing against, dude, you're trying to kill an elephant, man. What the hell did elephant do to you? It's like, they're going for the ivory
Yeah,
tusks.
yeah.
They're trying to kill rhinos. I mean, dude, I would be so on board with just grabbing all my gear, kitting up, going over there,
Yeah.
just sitting in a tree somewhere, and just I will snipe. I have zero problem taking
Right.
somebody out that's doing that shit.
Yeah. Where was it? Do you know?
It was a couple countries. I think one of them was Botswana.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
So were these in like national parks, or are they just like?
Yeah, like I think one of them. Not sure if the other one was in Botswana. I was trying to get a job there, and I was trying to get a job over in Kenya too, but neither one of them panned out.
Yeah.
So
Dang. Because you'd be in there with the animals too, and the
oh, dude, I'd
and the
be
crazy people.
yeah, and the crazy, and the but that's okay, man. If I get it, I have a dude. Love animals, man. I just love animals, So
I just don't know how you'd have to be in a cage, man. A truck that's like a cage.
nah, it's not. You want to blend into your environment.
Yeah, the
You
lions will
want.
get you. The lions will get you. Did you go? I think were you there when we went to Kenya and stayed in the Tsavo National Park in the
I was not. I was not there for.
oh dude, we did it was a bunch of us. We had like a day, so this dude drove us into Tsavo National Park. It's a 14,000-acre national park, and it's in Kenya. And we're in this crappy minivan. You know what I mean? With like super small tires. And it takes like 2.5 hours. It took like 2 hours to get to the camp that's in like the middle of the preserve. And we're just going.
Got
And
a
the
three
guys,
cylinder.
yeah, yeah. And we're just cruising. And the guy's like, you can't get out of the car because you'll get, you don't never know what'll happen. And I think one time we actually stopped. He let us go to the bathroom, but it was like, get out, go to the bathroom, get back in. You know what I mean? It was like, we're not sitting around. And we get to the camp, and there's like this nice tent camp set up. Like, there's big tents, and there's like a dude walking around with a spear. He's the security guard. He just has a spear. That's it. Just a spear. Nobody's allowed to have guns in the park. And so the security is a guy with a spear. There's no fence around all the tents and stuff. So it's a bunch of like pretty like glamping tents. And then they had like a bigger tent for like where you could eat. And then there was like a bar and stuff like that. And it was just us. And then there was a bunch of British tourists. And then some of them had kids there, man. And that was it. That was like the only people there. And so we were in there, and like we're walking around, like you're just walking around, and like you're in the food chain. Like you could tell that you're in the food chain when you're out there. Like you can tell. There's nobody to help you. Like if some lion comes in here, it's like who can run and get away is gonna live. You know what I mean? Because the guy with the spear, if he misses, that's it. He's dead. But so they had like a watering hole, and what they do is they put like watering holes out, and they'll have like a light shining down on it so you can see the animals, And like there's a fence, but it's like a low fence. Like anything can come through this thing. Dude, it was terrifying. We spent the night there. Hello? You still there? We gotta go. I'll just tell you this story, and then
Yeah,
I'll let
sorry,
you go.
man. I was like, you were right in it. You were like in the thick of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
crap.
All right, so we had like a day off, and we're in Kenya. We're in Mombasa at the port over there, and the guy's like, you guys want to go to Tsavo National Park? That's the one where that movie with Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas, where they had that problem with the lions that were killing everybody when they were building the railroads and stuff. It was called
Yeah. I remember that movie.
Lion in the Darkness or something like that. And we're like, yeah, we'll go out there. So what I didn't realize is that these places are like, these are parks, like national parks. And this thing is 14,000 acres. It's huge. So the guy drives us out there. You get to the gate, and then you check in, and then this guy drives us out there in this little minivan that's like, you're like, oh my God, dude, there's like hyenas, there's lions, everything is right there, like right outside this stupid piece of crap minivan that it breaks down. We're dead, dude. Like, we're dead. By the time he radios for somebody to come get us, like, they're going to be, the animals are going to be roasting us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we make it out there, and it's like these tents, like it's like glamping out there. And it's like a small little camp right next to a watering hole. And so we get our hut, there's like 3 of us staying in like our tent. There's a bunch of other tents. There's like the main tent for like eating, and then there's like a bar tent. And so we get there during the day, and you're just like, okay, looking around, and you're kind of noticing like, oh my God, like anything come in here and get us. So you're kind of like, you're freaking out because you're in the food chain. So then So there's three of us staying in this tent, and so we go in the tent just to put our stuff in there, and then like you look at the list, there's like a rules. There's like a list of rules on the tent, and the first one is do not go outside to inspect any noises. That was rule number one. So then already you're just like, okay, this is terrifying. And then number two was like, always know where your children are, you know? And I'm like, oh, that's even worse. So then, so we're like kind of walking around, checking it out. And there's like these British families in there with their kids, which I don't know, can't believe that they even brought their kids there. And just like some random other tourists just walking around, and everybody's just like acting like their kids are just running around all over the place. And they're not even watching them. I'm just like, oh my God. So, you know, we have food, and it's like sun starts going down. It's like dark now. So now it's like, everywhere you walk, you're expecting to come around a corner and there'll just be like a tiger or a lion right there. And he's just like, but, so, you know, after we ate, like, so it was lion mating season. So like the lions were doing it, and they're probably like 100 yards away out in the bush or whatever. And, when they're doing it, they start roaring, you know what I mean? And the roaring, dude, it's super loud. Like it's really, really loud. You're like, oh my God, it's like a monster is over there, you know? And like, so they're constantly doing it because it's mating season. So it's like every 15, 20 minutes, like there's like this roar, and you're just like, and so your nerves, like you're freaking out because you can feel like with the roaring going on, you can almost feel the power that animal
Yeah,
has
yeah.
that's over
So,
there.
so what you're telling me?
And then you know that like, the only person to stop that thing from killing you is a guy with a spear, and he's
Yeah,
probably going to miss. And
yeah.
so they had a bar. And so we all went over to the bar, and like we're just sitting there, like there's a bartender, and we're just like drinking, you know what I mean? Because like there's no way you're going to sleep. There's no way you're going to sleep with the lions roaring like that out there, you know what I mean? It's terrifying. Like you could feel it. Like you're just like, oh my God. So everybody's like drinking, thinking, oh man, if you get enough drinks, maybe you can just finally get some rest, you know? And so you'd be sitting there at the bar, and when they started to roar, like when they're having sex, the bar would start vibrating and shaking, and all the bottles would be like, you could hear the bottles hitting each other and stuff like that. That's how much power was in these roars that were coming
Dude,
from like 100 yards away. And you're like, oh my God. And then we had to go to sleep, and there's three of us in this tent. And you're like, first of all, you're going in there thinking there's going to be like a black mamba on your pillow or something, you know?
yeah, 'cause
And
they're harmless.
yeah. So, and like the tent, anything come in from underneath it and stuff like that. There's nothing to stop anything from coming in our tent. Like
Mm-hmm.
not that any animal that's out there. And so we're going to sleep, and I didn't sleep, and it was me, Roger, and Tom, and Tom was like snoring, dude. He was snoring so loud, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, he's like attracting the animals. He's like sending out like a beacon. He's sending out a signal like there's
We're
something
over here.
sleeping. Go come and kill it and eat it. It's an easy kill, you know what I mean? So I'm just sitting in there laying in my bed that has like the net around it, just like there's no way you're sleeping. And then he's snoring, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, they're probably just like circling around the outside of the
You're
tent.
building a
And then I
pillow
keep thinking
fort.
about yeah. And then I'm like staring at Roger because he's not sleeping either because we're both terrified. And then you just keep thinking about the first rule, like don't go outside, and you can hear stuff out there, like you can hear twigs breaking and stuff. And you're just like, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah.
That's
And
crazy,
then,
man.
so,
I'm sorry. It's like you're basically you went out into the jungle to listen to lion porn. That's
right.
basically.
Yeah.
It's like what the.
Yeah.
It's.
It was
I'm like,
crazy. I was
yeah, 'cause-
like, you definitely
yeah.
felt like you were in the food chain.
And there's no guns.
And
Nobody had a
then,
gun.
no, nobody. They weren't allowed in the park.
Yeah, no, no, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you said, you're part of the food chain now.
And then as soon as we left, I'm like, no, I'd never do that again. I would never do that again. No way. Especially, and these people brought their kids, man. They had their little kids, like 5-year-olds running around like it was nothing. But I mean, it was one of those great stories that was fun, but like I would never do that again. It's like skydiving. It's like, nope, never doing that again. Same thing. But
Uh,
Africa was pretty fun. I always tell people, I'm like, Africa is like the best continent, man. It's beautiful.
it's beautiful, but
People are
man,
really nice.
everything there is extra large, and it wants to kill you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's true.
it's a very it's not a very welcoming environment. It's just
No,
you got to. I mean, well, you were. I don't know, man. I remember anytime I used to go, to I used to go to medical, and they would always ask us, "What country are you going to next?" And I would tell them I'm going to, Sierra Leone or some other friggin' wonderful shithole, right? And they're looking at my shot record, and they're like, "Okay, you need this, 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 and this. All right." So, and they're just pumping you up with like,
right,
all kinds of, vaccines and friggin' they're just blasting you with all kinds of stuff that you don't even know what it's going to do to you 10 years down the road.
right.
Um, uh, yeah, and there was this one. They were like, "All right, this one needs to go in the butt." So you got to drop your drawers. I'm like, "What's this one called?" And the corpsman's like, "This is the catch-all." And just bam, they hit you with that damn
Yeah,
thing, and then off you go, off your merry way. Enjoy
right.
Africa,
Yeah. Remember they'd always try to give us those malaria pills, right?
dude.
And
I
then
used to have some insane nightmares when I used
yeah,
to take
yeah,
malaria pills. Dude, I was tripping, man, and I was like, and I would come home after, you still got to take it for like a week after you get back.
yeah.
You know, Kim would be freaking out because I'm laying in bed having these insane dreams. One night she woke up and she's tapping me because I had her in a headlock.
Oh my God.
I was like choking her, and she's like told me to go sleep on the couch, and
Yeah,
dude, those pills were crazy, man.
yeah,
Uh
yeah.
yeah, I don't miss that.
I took them. I took a couple, and I had some crazy dream. It was really colorful and vivid and like insane. And as soon as that happened, I was like done. It's like I'll
Yeah.
just take my chances. And I never took them again after that. I
Yeah.
just couldn't. I couldn't do it, man. Like it was insane. I'm like, dude, they shouldn't be giving people this stuff. It's crazy how much they just threw right at you and shoot you up with
Yeah.
stuff. No idea what it is.
Yeah.
I wish I could put in for disability for all that stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's funny. But I always wanted to go back to Africa, man. I'd like to go back there.
I
Take
would
a
love, you know where I'd love to go
family
check
trip.
out? I'd love to go check out Morocco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've heard
Yeah, I
really
never made
nice
it.
things about Morocco, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but
never made it over there.
yeah, I never made it there either. They were too busy sending us to shitholes. It's like
Yeah.
nobody ever wanted to deploy with me, man. I never went anywhere nice.
Yeah.
I was
Right.
like, man, do they hate me? I think they hate me here.
Yeah. You were always going somewhere terrible.
Nobody wanted to deploy with me. And
It's funny.
I remember the time we were sitting in the the mini auditorium at during the holidays. They bring everybody back, and we do all our annual training
Oh yeah, yeah.
during the holidays. And they made us do these debriefs, or do a country brief of what you're doing and where you. So I get up, I do the brief of Yemen, because I was like the Yemen guy, constantly was there, right? So I start going through my brief, and it's force protection. You got to make sure you change your routes. Blah 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 blah. You're doing everything you can to keep the team safe. There's all these threats, and I'm running through the nightmare that it is to go there, right? And I get done, I sit down, and you remember Noel?
Yeah.
So Noel gets up after me, right? And his brief is the Bahamas,
Yeah.
and he gets up there and he starts going through his PowerPoint, and he goes, "Here's a picture of the bar."
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
goes, "It got sketchy one night, man. We had a blender explosion. There was ice everywhere."
Yeah. That's
I'm
funny.
sitting there going, fuck you, man.
Yeah, he's just pointing out all the great restaurants.
Great restaurants, and I'm like sitting there
Yeah.
going, really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big difference. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fun.
that's
But you got to go to all the fun places that nobody would ever get to go to, Nobody's ever going to go to those kind of places.
yeah,
So at least you got to see it.
Yeah, it definitely was an experience, man.
Yeah.
I did a lot of trips with Jay. Oh, it's like me and Jay. For some odd reason, they put Jay with me. I'm like sitting here, Jay, you stick out like a sore thumb, dude.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was my escape plan. I'm like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stab you in the leg, and I'm going to
Yeah.
haul ass. I
Yeah.
mean, he was like the poster child for infidel. I'm like sitting there
Right.
going,
Yeah.
I had a chance to blend in. I blend in, right?
Yeah. All you have to do is point at Jay and just go, look, look.
American. I
Yeah.
was like, and just
I
start
actually
running.
might be hanging out with him today. Actually,
Yeah.
saw him the other day, trying to get him to get out of the house.
Nah, I miss you guys, man. I really do. It's like, and I suck at keeping in touch. I know I do. I'm horrible at it, but
I think everybody does.
but yeah, life keeps jumping up in the way, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was. I'll be honest. This was kind of fun, man. I kind of enjoyed doing this with you. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
we can
Maybe
do it
we'll
again.
do it. Yeah, we'll definitely do it again sometime.
You know?
But I'll let you go.
Yeah, man.
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. This was, like I said, a lot of fun. Let's do it again, man. Well,
Yeah, definitely.
dude, I'll talk to you about anything. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again.
You know? So,
We'll definitely do it again.
all right, man.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
All right, man. Be good. Stay safe.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
All right.